What's up, everyone? What the hell? Let's talk some Ty Dunne, Packers, Bleacher Report, talking all sorts of junk here in the studio. This is what it looks like when no one's in here and I'm just chilling. But Ty Dunne dropping let's say a bomb, shall we? Today, over there at Bleacher Report, thought I'd jump on here and say hi to you fine folks and talk some, what on earth did I just read? I mean, there's a lot to absorb there. A lot of opinions flying around on Twitter. Thought I'd jump here and say, what's up, everyone? How are things for me? Things are great. What's up from Myrtle Beach? How you doing? I read the piece earlier. I'm here for thoughts. I tell you what, done from the top rope. Yeah, it's funny because, with Rob's piece, we actually had about, 12 so hours of anticipation because he dropped a teaser, but Dunne had no idea he was working on it. And there it was. So good times, I guess. I was just reading when you came live. Well, Tony, I'm here to be an augmentation for your reading experience. Obviously, the funniest part is, to me, the biggest piece of news in the article is Mike McCarthy getting massages on a Saturday while people are going through a walkthrough. Woo! I just couldn't take anything seriously, says Jimmy. Lots of assumptions and anonymous sources. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on it? Andy, I thought, as someone just said, a lot of anonymous sources, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. A lot of times that is driven by certain agendas and certain things that people are trying to drive story-wise. But I will say what's funny is seeing anonymous sources that you know who they are because they've said the same things to you. Though those are littered throughout that piece. I did think, I understand the criticisms from a lot of people in my mentions talking about how, they're tired of hearing from Jennings and Jermichael Finley. I think that's very valid. I mean, those guys have said what they're going to say. They're going to keep saying what they're going to keep saying. I understand why outlets continue to go to them because they do have a past with Rodgers, and Rodgers is a newsworthy piece. But yeah, I think, come on. Jennings and Finley have said all they're ever going to need to say on the subject of Aaron Rodgers. As far as Ryan Grant goes, I thought Ryan Grant actually comes off probably the best of anybody in the entire thing. He's just keeps it real, man. I thought his bit about Aaron Rodgers becoming artificial intelligence was spot on. Something that you've created that just kind of takes over and says, I don't need you anymore. That's, I think, very, very apt. It was funny, there was the story about EQ getting frustrated because he didn't know whether to listen to Rodgers because Rodgers freezes guys out, or if he should run the plays as called because he wanted to run the plays as called. And then there was that play in New England. I put up on my Twitter account the quote from the article and then the actual play itself from the broadcast. It's funny because that is a real Rorschach test for people who want to find fault in Rodgers or want to blame Rodgers or absolve him of all blame. And of course, as usual, I think the answer and the truth lies in the middle there. It was funny, people saying how he had no time. Well, he called a deep post route when there was an obvious pressure on, and the Patriots just won the pressure. And it's on the quarterback to solve that free rusher, and he clearly didn't. And that's not a good or bad thing. It's just what happened on that play. Media trolling. I don't know about all that, but Jennings is definitely a disgruntled ex-employee. Luke, you got that right. No question about it. It is funny, though, because, he the best years of his life professionally were with Aaron Rodgers. Now he spends all of his days ripping on him. I love it seems Murphy isn't tolerating the BS from anybody, including Rodgers. I did find that really interesting. That quote, "Don't be the problem," from Mark Murphy supposedly to Aaron Rodgers after the hiring of Matt LaFleur. I mean, it's impressive that Ty got that quote. I mean, he got a quote from a phone call between Mark Murphy and Aaron Rodgers. That's hella impressive. And yeah, I like the idea of Mark Murphy kind of laying down the law. And I understand there's a lot of pushback online right now about Murphy and why didn't this happen earlier? What took so long, et cetera, et cetera. They were in the NFC Championship game in 2016. And I understand that maybe he should have acted a little sooner, especially in light of Ted Thompson's failing health. But you kind of understand the reticence when the team is going on the run the table like run. What are you going to turn around then and fire the GM? Fire the coach? I don't think so. So, it's 2017 was bad, obviously with the injury to Rodgers, and then 2018, it all kind of fell apart. Can't stand Jennings anymore. Jennings on a transplant. Book it. I would love to, Andy. He was actually on one of the very first Nagler's Never Right podcasts. I think a majority of the mediocrity and downfall is on Ted. Yeah, I think that's fair. Again, you don't know exactly when the health started to take away from his fastball, but I think it's more than fair to say, the idea that the talent level fell away and he didn't adjust or do anything to kind of mitigate that. That is on the GM. That is his job. So yeah, I can understand that thinking. Thompson falling asleep during film sessions. No duh. He about fell asleep during pressers. No doubt. Ooh, that's rough. If what happened between Rodgers and his young wide receivers is true, how does Rodgers write that going into next season? That's a great question. I think that's one that will undoubtedly be addressed early on in the offseason program. I don't doubt that LaFleur is going to have to come in and not so much lay down the law, because I don't think it's that type of game. I don't think it's that type of environment. But I do think he is going to have to mend some fences there and make sure guys are all on the same page and working and rowing in the same direction, so to speak. What is it about Mike Daniels? What was that bit about Mike Daniels being a hypocrite? I think, and this is just guesswork on my part, because we've seen these articles before. I think, actually, I can't remember who it was, but somebody at the Press Gazette wrote on Daniels and had some quotes about, some anonymous quotes, as usual, about his vocal leadership style rubbing guys the wrong way. I think when they talk about hypocritical, they're talking about Mike and being a lot of bark and no bite when it comes to the tough defense that he's been wanting to kind of lead in Green Bay for the last couple of years. Every offseason, it seems we get some quotes from Mike Daniels talking about how it's a new defense, it's going to be much tougher, et cetera, and then it's kind of the same old. I don't think that's a direct reflection on Mike Daniels, but I think it was after the Colts game when they lost to the Colts at home in Lambeau a couple years ago. I think that was a couple weeks before they started the run the table bit. Mike had gone off in the locker room, and I think that's when teammates started to roll their eyes a little bit. I think that's what it's in reference to. Now, what exactly makes that hypocritical, I can't say for sure. John, yes, Josh Sitton did announce his retirement on ESPN Milwaukee this morning. Man, a lot of retirement posts you got to put up this week, this last couple weeks, actually. Pretty soon, Jordy Nelson sounds like he'll be signing a one-day contract and be retiring as a Packer. Although, who knows if Aaron Rodgers calls in July. God, more Jordy Nelson stuff. Can't handle it. I can't handle it, people. I'll take one or two more here. Tulsa Packer backers present. What's up, Tim? Thanks for hopping on here. The unscheduled live chat. This is Extra Cheese with Aaron Nagler. I'll be doing these hopefully every day whenever there's something to talk about. Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, Daniel? How are you, man? All right, I'm going to have to jump. Thanks, what bomb? The Tyler Dunne Bleacher Report. Big article on the Packers. Check it out. McCarthy had to say with Alex Smith being picked. Yeah, John, I did read that. Thought that was pretty interesting. Have a great day. Thanks, Tim. I will. Thanks a lot for hopping on, everybody.